welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim and today I'm bringing you my April wrap-up of all of the books I was able to read this month. So let's get into those books. Alright, so the first book that I read I'm going to put up on the screen. This is a book that I applied for on NetGalley and was able to get it to review. It is called I Know Your Secret. This is by Ruth Hield. So it'll be up on your screen. This was supposed to be a thriller and it kind of fell flat for me. This is actually the first book that I've gotten from NetGalley and I want to do a whole video on that next month about the site. If you're familiar with NetGalley, you might be interested in it. But this is going to be kind of maybe a series on books that I read and review for them as I get them, and I can share my experiences with you, and that's going to start next month. But with this particular book, I think I ended up giving it a 2-star rating. I don't think it is out yet. I think it'll come out in June, so in about a month, 2 months. I gave it a 2-star rating. It wasn't very suspenseful. It didn't really, I think it was marketed as being a psychological thriller, and it really wasn't. Again, it didn't really play with the reader's mind. There was a little bit, but she just didn't go far enough. Like she would go to the edge, like something would be moved in her house or something ended up under her child's bed. But that was about the extent of it. And the ending was very anticlimactic. It's like she built all of this up and it wasn't going to be a happy ending, and then she switched it to make it somewhat of a bittersweet happy ending. It was very odd, so I didn't particularly care for it. I did review it and I sent it back to them, kind of my thoughts on it. It is told from 2 points of view, and sometimes that works well, sometimes not. So you got both people's points of view, but again, it just has some technical errors and it didn't really do what it was saying it was going to be doing, as it's marketed as a psychological thriller. That's just kind of my opinion on that particular book. So just because I get books for free to review doesn't mean I'm going to give them a 5-star rating. So 2-star rating for that particular book. Alright, moving on to my physical books that I read this month. This is Visions of Heat by Nalini Singh. If you've been on my channel, you know I absolutely love this author. I believe this is the second book out of the Side Changeling series. This follows Faith Nightstar and Vaughn D'Angelo. She, I think, forecasts the future events, and some things go on. She ends up seeking out another someone who also rebelled against the Psy and left them. So she's wanting answers for herself about that. And it's a really good story. I really did enjoy it. It's been a while since I had read this series, but since, again, I said in other videos that I'm reading the kind of offshoot of the series, the Trinity series, I wanted to go back and read the first series that got it started. But yeah, a 5-star rating, would highly recommend Visions of Heat. I've talked about this, I think, in my Romance-opoly first update. This is A Rogue of My Own by Joanna Lindsay. I believe I gave this a 3-star rating. Not her best work. I love her older things. When I first got into historical romance, she was one of the authors that got me into reading historical romance. So I had high hopes for this one, but as I was reading, the characters really didn't grow that much. They didn't really evolve that much. So 3-star rating. I do love her. I do recommend her older works, the Mallory series, some of her standalone books, but this one to me fell a little flat. So a little disappointed. The third book out of the Side Changeling series, again I read this I believe for the Romance-opoly. This is Caressed by Ice, again by Nalini Singh. This follows Brenna Shane Kincaid and the Arrow Judd Lauren. So again, in this one, Brenna, she had in previous books been taken by a Psy. She was tortured, and it's following her kind of recovery and her falling in love with Judd. And how do they overcome all of the things that she has experienced, he's experienced, and those types of things. So again, 5-star rating, would highly recommend this series. All right, this one, excuse me. This is Bad Blood by Demetria Lunetta. This is based in Scotland. Actually better than I was thinking it was going to be. This does deal with some harsh things like cutting, depression, paranoia, those types of things. But all of that affected her because of, I think it was kind of like ancestors in previous times were haunting her and causing her to do things because they were in a tug-of-war battle trying to get her on their side. So it was very good watching her go through all of these things and learning what was causing all of the mental health issues with her and her kind of recovery from that. So it was really good. I think I gave it also a 5-star rating. So a lot better than I was thinking it was going to be because I don't like to read a ton of the young juvenile side of the YA. But it was on that border. It dealt with more difficult things, which I enjoy. Whereas a lot of really juvenile YA books are kind of a he said, she said, I don't like you because. And I don't like those books. But this one, the issues that were involved, I did enjoy it. And watching her discover and overcome was awesome. This is This Cell by Stephen King. I really did enjoy it. There were some things that I wish had been done differently, but I'm a pet person, so I guess that's why. The ending was a little weird, not as weird as some of his endings have been. So I think that's partly why I gave it a 4-star rating. Someone had programmed basically a virus that went through cell phones, and the program basically made everyone who picked up their phones during that time go crazy, and then they started killing one another. And yeah, so 4-star rating. It could have been better, the ending could have been better, but overall a decent read. Again, I haven't found my niche with Stephen King that I like. I liked like his Pet Sematary. I think I read Misery. I know I've watched it. Don't remember if I read the book. Silver Bullet, I both read and watched. So I liked his older stuff. Some of these newer ones, they're kind of shaky. The last 3 books, I love them. They're all 5-star books. I love this series. Alright, so I think this one is book 3. Yeah, book 3 out of this series. I have fallen in love with the Throne of Glass series. This is by Sarah J. Maas. This is Heir of Fire, 5-star book. This particular one, it's been a hot minute. I've read 3 back to back. So basically you're still following Selena. She goes, I think this is one where she goes to Wendell and learns about her heritage, how to control her power, because she's kind of been afraid of it because she's not in control of it. So she's starting to learn and trust herself with her Fae powers that she has because she is part Fae, part human. So this is learning how to control it and then coming back when all of that is done. So again, I really do enjoy this series, and I've got book 6 and I've ordered book 7, so can't wait to get those. So Queen of Shadows. So after she's learned how to control her powers in Heir of Fire, she actually ends up falling in love with the Rowan, Prince Rowan, who was the one that was training her. She comes back to Adolin, and she goes through to get her justice for a lot of people who have done her wrong 10 years ago as she was growing up against the Assassin King. I think his name is Arabin, and how she gets through all of that. So again, another 5-star read. I would highly recommend if you're into fantasy books with a little bit kind of love triangles going on and growth of characters. Again, I would highly recommend this series. The one that I just finished last night, which would have been Tuesday night. This is Empire of Storms. Wow. So again, she's building her army. I couldn't believe some things that happened with Darrow and his kind of pompousness. Yeah, if she had met him when she was earlier that same year, because I think all of this is taking place in a year's time, wow, he would probably not have survived that meeting because he is a very pompous jerk. And then again, it takes you through as everyone is going through, everyone who is supporting her. She's building her armies to defeat Erewhon, I think is his name, the dark demon king, basically, and all of that. And on top of that, she's also having to deal with Maeve, which is a goddess who's deciding that she wants what Aelin has, and how all of that's taking place. And you learn about the prophecy. You finally learn about everything she was piecing together in book 1 of Throne of Glass with Elena, and all the different riddles that her and Brennan were giving to her to figure out all of this stuff. And the clincher of it is what has to happen with her, and I'm just dreading and anticipating reading the last 2 books to see how she overcomes and hopefully defeats and gets the happily ever after that she really deserves. I don't know yet how that's going to happen, based on the mistakes that her ancestors made that has led to all of this. So again, another 5-star rating. I was deeply troubled at the ending of this book, and I can't wait for book 6 to come in this Friday so that I can continue the story, because I'm absolutely enthralled. It's going to be a bittersweet ending when I finally finish this series, because I absolutely love it. Definitely will eventually reread this entire series, maybe next year. I don't want to read it back to back so soon, but again, 5-star rating. Love, love, love this series. I hope you have enjoyed today's reveal of all of the books that I have managed to read in the month of April. It has been a very interesting time that we are in right now, working from home, being on the computer so much, grading and emails and all of that, but I did manage to read 9 books. I'm very proud of that. I'm starting to really get my firm boundaries so that I do have time that I can read, and also film for my YouTube channel, BookTube channel as well. So again, leave me comments down below. Which of these books have you read? Which ones are you interested in picking up to read, and all of that. So just leave me thoughts and comments down below. And until my next video, I hope you have a good one. Bye!